the man at the front, ultimately, who gets the job done.
We went to basic training at Fort Riley, Kansas. They lined us all up out there, and the big general come out and he says, "You boys are going to Vietnam and some of you ain't coming home." My name is Gerald Joseph Matheis. I got drafted in May of '66, got out in May of '68. We trained for 6 months at Fort Riley, Kansas. They shipped us to California by train. We got on a ship, went to Vietnam on a ship. Most people went by plane as replacements. We went as a unit. We formed up the original 9th Division over there. After 12 days, we stopped in Okinawa. They turned 4,000 troops loose and said, "Be back in 6 hours." After you've been on the sea for 12 days. Well, they had them all back in 8. We had to go get some of them. But anyway, one day out of Okinawa, the middle of the night, midnight, the MPs were chasing a guy up the galley, up the steps. He got up on top and says, "I can't go," and he jumped overboard. He didn't go to Vietnam. We traded the circle for a day and a half. We didn't see him. And then we headed for Vietnam. And then they put us on trucks and we went to our base camp, and there was a big pile of tents out there, and he says, "There's your tent. If you want to sleep under it, you better put it up." So the first weeks over there, we just sent it out some light patrols and stuff just to get us acquainted to the territory. And it's hotter than the dickens, and you know, it's just crazy. Smell was terrible. And we went on a few patrols, then we moved down to the Mekong Delta, and they formed up the Mobile Riverine Force, which was the Navy Army. They put us on ships, which was really nice, all air conditioning and showers and everything. And they'd take us out on the armored troop carriers. That's the one with the front ramp to drop that, holds a platoon. They'd drop us off along the waterways down in the swamp, and they'd pick us up 3 days later. You couldn't stay out over 3 days because your feet would get so sore that you'd have to come in and dry out. So we'd go out 3 days, come in for 2, and dry out, and go back out again. And we was always looking for the VC, and we ran into them and they ran into us several times. And our first casualty over there was one of the guys in my platoon got gored by a water buffalo. What happened was we were walking along this tree line, and I think the cow had a calf, and he got spooked, and he had this guy on the ground, pinned him to the ground. We had to shoot the buffalo to get him off of us. And the next day we got shot at from the farmer because he was mad because we shot his water buffalo. But then we did all kinds of patrols and everything. We'd bring in VC and suspects and all that kind of stuff. And what this Mobile Riverine Force does, they go up and down the rivers and patrol them, and we'd walk the rice paddies alongside of them. We were in waist-deep water and knee-deep mud most of the time. That's just the way it was, because it's all swamp. The 19th of June, 1967, we were on patrol. I was in B Company, and we were on patrol. We were bringing in suspects and stuff like that. And our A Company, we could hear some firing over to our front and right. And we found out that our A Company was up there and got in trouble, and we had to go get them out of that mess. So we went up there and got alongside of them, and they got caught in a crossfire between 250 caliber machine guns. They lost 25 dead right now out of a company. I laid in a solid mud for 4 hours, couldn't go nowhere, just lay there until it got dark. And then we got back into this little ravine, and you could hear guys out there crying and, you know, just screaming because they were wounded and couldn't go nowhere. So they wanted 4 of us to go out there and bring some of those guys back. Well, we took poncho liners. We went out there and we brought 5 or 6 guys back. We didn't know if they were alive or dead or who they were or anything. But that was kind of hairy. You know, you didn't know. We could have got shot pretty easy going out there, but we made it through that. And then the next day we patrolled the thing, and walked through the whole area. They were gone. They left. Supposedly we killed 256 of them that day. And out of 4 companies, we lost 52 guys killed. A company that got caught in the crossfire had 9 guys that walked away from it out of 120. Only 9 of them walked away that didn't get wounded or killed. And I'm in touch with one of them up in the Twin Cities that walked away from it. How I got to know him is his niece married my nephew. So that's how it all come about. But then in September of '67, I got transferred into a different unit because we went over as a unit and they didn't want us all transferring home out of the same unit at the same time. So they shipped some of us to a different unit, so they then brought in new ones. So there'd be people there. They sent me, I got out of the infantry walking and I got into gun jeeps. We patrolled an 8-mile dirt road all the way out to the highway, from the base camp to the highway. The minesweepers would clean it every morning, walked with the minesweepers. We'd follow them, and then when they get done, we'd keep it open all day. And at night, we'd turn it right back to the VC again. They'd find mines in the road all the time, and the engineers would blow them up. They'd bring a load of dirt in, fill it up, and away we go. I left Vietnam on the 6th of January, 1968. Well, another thing, I left Vietnam, it was probably 90 to 100 degrees. Got to San Francisco, it was 46. Got to the Twin Cities, it was 20 below, all in 24 hours. I spent a year and 11 months in the Army, and then went home and started farming with my dad. Nowadays, every time somebody sees you wear this hat, they shake your hand and thanks for your service and all kinds of stuff. We get all kinds of recognition now, which we didn't get before. And these guys that come from Iraq and stuff now, they say they thank us for starting that. So they get all the appreciation. You know, they get welcomed home and all kinds of stuff, which we didn't get. But now, the more you bring it out, the better it is. The more I talk about it, the better it is for me to take care of my 50% PTSD.